Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope that you're enjoying this conversation. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And today I'll be joined by Owen Siwolo, and he's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Today I just want to know 5 things that you must know before doing your orals. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that, Grace. It's an honor to be here, as always. Now, the orals is quite a rigorous exercise. The preparation for orals, I mean, it is only after one has done orals that one kind of wonders, all this preparation I have done for a 10-minute question and answer. Okay? And sometimes it is as bad as you preparing for those long hours and midnight, burning the midnight oil, only for you to be asked the questions that you read that very day. So you would kind of ask yourself, was it really worth it reading for 5 months? Could I have just started reading today and I would have still passed either way?
Yeah.
But trust me, there is a need for you to prepare for orals. There is a need for you to prepare for orals. The reason why orals is important is because it lowers the burden that you have with respect to your final CLE exams. Okay? That is extremely important, of course, tied with your project marks. It is very important for you to be able to score very highly in your orals. Now, with respect to your orals, let me first start with the mark allocation before I get to what you need to know in terms of even the categories of questions that you may be asked. In terms of the marks allocation, there are 2 sevens and 3 twos. All right? You have the number 1 mark for presentation. Number 2, the marks for content. Those are 7 marks each. Then you have, on the other hand, 2 marks for etiquette. You have another 2 marks for audibility. Then you have another 2 marks for composure. When you are talking about the way the marks are allocated and with respect to the 2 sevens, you must be very keen on this bit of content and presentation. I normally say that the key to orals is you must have confidence. And I want you guys to come with me, all right? This is a small journey.
Yeah.
You
Walk
must
with
have...
Wakili.
Yes. You must have confidence when you're heading to orals. Now, for you to be confident, there are some certain things that you must have. Certain things that without them, you cannot be confident. And amongst the things, the keyest thing that you need to have for you to be confident is the content. You cannot walk in confidently if you do not have the content. Let me just give an example of this session that we are having, Grace. If at all, perhaps, I was just maybe an LLB student, I would be knowing nothing about how it is to be in KSL. So if you are inviting me to talk about the experience in KSL, I would not be so much confident talking about what to expect in Kenya School of Law, being that I do not have any experience being in KSL. But because I have passed it and I teach it, I now have the confidence which is brought about by the content of my experience being in Kenya School of Law. It's the same thing. Without content, you can never be confident. So confidence breeds content. Okay. Now, we say this is a journey. For you to be confident, it means you have content. Now, there is this other 7 marks on presentation. For avoidance of doubt, content speaks to your knowledge, to the way that, to your mastery of the law. All right. Are you aware of the items that are happening, the emerging issues in the country? Are you aware of the Utumishi? Are you aware of the Gachagua impeachment proceedings or judgment that occurred on 8th of June? Are you aware of the issues that arose out of that? Are you aware of some of the issues that were up for determination in the 2022 general election? Such emerging issues. Then, of course, the content with respect to your 9 Ps. All right. The civil, the criminal, Are you aware of default judgment? Are you aware of summary judgment? Are you aware of the methods of the execution? That is content. What is your mastery of the law? That is content. Now, for you to be able to score these 7 marks on presentation, that 7 marks is heavily reliant on content. Presentation, unlike content, speaks to how you are educating. Let me talk about educating or conversing
the delivery
with the panel. Exactly, the delivery of your mastery of the law to the panelists for their judgment.
Okay.
That is now presentation.
Yeah.
So you would agree with me that if you do not have the content, okay, then there is nothing to present. Correct?
Yeah.
There's nothing to present. If you are not aware of methods of execution, umeulizwa, ujui, umeulizwa difference between default judgment and summary judgment, pia ujui, umeulizwa what are the types of bail that you have, pia ujui, then there is nothing to present. So the marks on presentation are also pegged on content. For you to have confidence, which is very important, you must have the content. So it is intertwined as such. Content, presentation, and confidence. Those are 14 marks up for grabs. So it is important that you understand whatever you can be asked. And by the way, I was talking about the futile questions, the questions that are a bit futile. If you have been asked a question that was there in your project work and you do not know, if you've been asked a question that your group or your firm presented and you are not aware, if you are asked a question that your lecturer repeatedly asks and you are not aware, those kind of things. For example, I'd give an example maybe of a lecturer who likes stating, the methods of, or rather, let me say theme, theory, and frame. Every class inaanzanga hivyo story nini, what is the theme, what's the theory, then what's the frame. Then sasa ifike hapo kwa orals na haujui. This is something that the lecturer has repeated over time. That kind of question is more futile than any other question that there will be. So it is important that you have those marks allocations. Audibility, those are easy marks. Bora tu unaweza skik. Let the lecturer not ever say, we can't hear you. Composure, how have you positioned yourself? Am I maintaining eye contact with the lecturer? What are my body cues? All right. Yes. Then lastly, we have the mark on etiquette. Don't also be over etiquetous. Don't start saying thank you after every question and whatnot. I normally say start with the silent knock. That kind of knock that is kiki lakini you at least you are being seen trying to knock. So that kind of thing. Be able to smile before the lecturers, present yourself vizuri, introduce yourself well. And I think I must mention this, guys. In terms of introduction, okay? In terms of introduction, you start from the general, heading to the specific. So, first of all, my name. My name is Owen Siwolo. I am a student undertaking the Advocates Training Program at the Kenya School of Law. That's the general. You start with the general, okay? So you don't just start, my name is Owen Siwolo and I'm in class. No. Before you go to class, you are first of all a student. You are undertaking ATP. Where are you undertaking ATP? At the Kenya School of Law. So I am Owen Siwolo. I'm a student undertaking the Advocates Training Program at the Kenya School of Law. My admission number, what qualifies you to be a student is the admission number. So my admission number is 2026-0001. Then after the admission number is now you can now go ahead and state which class do you belong to. I'm in class F. I'm in Form 4. All right. And I am ready to undertake in this conversation. Remember, guys, it is a conversation. It is not a question and answer session. Okay? It is a conversation. So you must be able to converse with the panelists that are before you. Yes.
Wow, that's very in-depth. And I think what I'm hearing is there's the role that there's a role that presentation plays and content plays, and it's important to know how to strike a balance and with confidence and all of that. I think I've really learned a lot today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for honoring our invite, and we appreciate. Maybe you could tell us, where can people find you? And just give us a parting shot to anyone who is looking, who is in KSL right now and they are in ATP. Just give us a parting shot and where can people find you?
Thank you. This is my second lot that I'm taking through the advocacy training program. So there's the Koguta Academic Cup 2 if you are a current student. If you are an alumnus, of course, you can still join the Cup 1. We do not discriminate. So you can always tag into the WhatsApp platform. I'm also, my offices are located at Mbandu Complex, which is opposite Galleria Mall. I'm at second floor, door number 9, for any consultancy services and legal work and whatnot. And I'm also very much available with respect to that. Lastly, on the parting shot, I would perhaps talk about the categories of questions that you need to expect in your orals, because I feel that is very important. There are only 5 categories of questions that a lecturer can be able to ask you in your orals. Number 1, you can be asked to define a concept. Okay, so define, define. I don't want to say define civil litigation, but define bail. All right, define summary judgment, define judicial review. So you can be asked those kind of definitions to be tagged. Number 2, you can be asked to distinguish concepts. So what is the difference between default judgment and summary judgment? What is the difference between private companies and public companies? What is the difference between bail and bond? What's the difference between review and judicial review, to distinguish concepts? Number 3, you can be asked, you can be asked a scenario question. Okay, so you are an employee at this company. The boss came, said you are fired, whatnot, or rather, what is the procedure that ought to have been followed? What kind of remedies, etc. So it's important for you to be able to marry those concepts and to be able to explain the question as such. And number 4, you can be asked to cross-examine. Those are the 4 categories of questions that you can be asked in orals. And it is very important for you to be able to have a mastery on what to expect during such sessions. Otherwise, guys, I would say be very confident with respect to your orals. Read very, very hard, understand the concepts, discuss it with your farm mates and with your friends and colleagues. It is very important that you pass this Kenya School of Law with 1 try, guys. All right. Do not worry much about pupillage. Those are things that you worry about after November. If it comes, yes, apply, but do not delve yourself into such at this very point. The most important thing right now is to ace the 9 Ps. It is very important that you do that at the first stage and kickstart your career at the age that you are in. Of course, you do law for different reasons, for different capacities. Just try your best. And the best route is normally on passing the projects and orals on the first try, then being able to ace the exams with very few residual marks that you'll be looking for with respect to your CLE exams. So yes.
Wow, thank you so much. You heard where you can find him. We'll put a description down below. And I appreciate, look out for the next conversation. Until then, see you next time.